Welcome in to Country Home. So today we're gonna do a quick because it's getting a little dark, but we're gonna do a quick walk around of some of the things we have planted out here in the fall, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more about we'll touch on some of the trees we have planted. But this is our what we call our salad bed. So we have some Chinese cabbage growing here, some kale, and here we have a regular curly kale. Here we have a red Russian kale. This is some comfrey that was left over, and then in amongst here we've also planted some radish. They're not up yet, and in the center right here, this wet area, that's where we have our carrots planted. And I also just noticed, seem to have one Irish potato coming up that I guess we missed. If you miss a potato, it'll obviously come back up. In here, this new bed, we have parsnips planted here, so they're not up yet either. This is a Loquat tree. We have two of them planted close together, so a little hard to see, but they're starting to put on some flowers currently. So over here we have our Contender bush green beans that you saw us plant on a video, I guess it would have been about 3.5 to 4 weeks ago. So these are about a month along. I'm expecting within another month and a half, hopefully get some production. We're starting to see flowering here, flowering there. For whatever reason, these are struggling a little bit right here in this area. I'm not sure why, but got a few. They're all starting to flower, and actually right here, as you can see, they're putting right there the start of a really small green bean. So in this bed as well, another volunteer potato. We had potatoes planted here in the spring. Apparently I missed one. And another volunteer Irish potato, but that'll be fine. They stay in the bed all summer, and then they know when to come up in the fall. So kind of strange how that works. Sometimes you plant one and it won't come up, and they'll just come up like that. So moving over here, this is a 4x10 bed. This is also a 4x10 bed. So here, right here in the front, we have some garlic that's planted that's not up yet, and then in between the garlic rows, we planted a row of radish. The radish take about 45 days. They'll be out long before the garlic get up and disturb anything. This half of the bed from this papaya this way, right in here, we've got a salad mix planted in here, which is just got planted in, so it's not up yet. And then from here over here, this part of the bed, we have some carrots planted. And of course our papayas, as you can see, are still hanging in there. This one's now getting well above 6 foot, so we'll see how long they hang in with us. Here you saw a few weeks ago on a video, we planted some potatoes in pots, so they're we don't have great success, but they're coming up. These will be ready this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and hill them up. I'll let this one get a little bit taller, and I'll go ahead and hill them all the way up. These are just starting to break surface here, so they need a little more time, but we put 3, and there's 3 coming up, so we'll let them go a little bit longer. Here, with not quite as good a success, but they're starting to come up. We had also planted 4 seed potatoes. One's up quite a bit, one's just barely coming up, the other one's barely, and the fourth one. So not, like I said in that video, I don't have great success with potatoes, but we're gonna keep trying. Moving over here, we have another one of our longer beds, and this is planted out with carrots. So this is a carrot called Oxheart planted in here. Just planted out, so they're not up yet, but give them a little bit more time. Another 2 weeks, they'll start coming up. Still getting some sweet potatoes coming back up in here from when we have sweet potatoes planted in here earlier in the season. Here in this little metal, well, right here we can talk about, this is asparagus first, which is kind of a mess. Needs to get trimmed down once it starts to die back further. Still pretty green, so I'm letting it do its thing, but it'll need to be clipped back, so we have pretty good stand of asparagus, and we get a fair amount of that come spring. In this bed here we also have carrots planted in this small metal bed right here, so I'm keeping that area moist. Here we have our simple trellis, TP trellis structure that we just tied together from old sunflower stalks and sun hemp stalks. And well, our climbing beans are doing their thing. They're climbing. Some of them made it all the way to the top, so trying to get them trained to try to go vertical, see how that goes. But we should be in business hopefully before too long for them. I do see one small flower over here, so that's they're in progress. A few of them have struggled, but they're starting to recover. And right here I had an extra kale plant, so these obviously won't produce past the frost. This kale will, so I put it in here, had the space available. And then right here, in this open area, I put in a quick row of black Spanish radish. It'll be a 45-day radish. Should not, since I don't have any beans coming up this area, they should get plenty of light and won't affect them. Shouldn't affect them, but this will bush out quite a bit, so we'll see how that goes. I have a small space here, so I try to plant as much as I can. Here we have one of our perennial oreganos that's starting to come back. Smells really good, so that's in the process. Over here we have a few well, last spring around May we dug potatoes in this bed, and we had some that were eaten with bugs, and we threw them in here. And of course, there again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by the Comfrey there, volunteer potato plants that are coming up. So I got some bag compost here that I picked up, and I'm just going to hill them up with that and a little bit of peat moss, and they're here, so see if I can get anything else out of them. We're not going to plant nothing here in this fall anyway. This is more set up for spring. Our fig tree here is starting to fade, so won't be long that'll be gone. This part of the bed right here, we have another planting from here this way of parsnips, so those are planted out and they're not up yet. They take about 21-24 days, so there'll be a little bit yet before they get up. And we have some residual sweet potato still growing. It's kind of behind this water can. I have a Malabar spinach here that's coming up pretty well. That was planted from some seed that was planted here earlier, and then they just come back. Here you saw us a few weeks ago. This piece of grass there, planting out these celery. They're doing well. And in the center here, to utilize this space a little bit, I put in some radish as well. They won't affect that celery. They'll be out long before the celery gets, has a problem. Right here, we're just starting to develop this area. We went ahead and put some carrots in right here. These are short and sweet carrots, so they should do fine here. Got a bit of sage planted here for our herbs. In here, we have some onion bulbs planted, and another kale plant over here. Comfrey. We have a lot of comfrey throughout. This bed you saw us plant out a few weeks ago. So as I remember, these were turnips. Didn't get real good for whatever reason, germination through here. We did on on the ends, and they're looking nice, coming up pretty well. Here we put in a row of kohlrabi. They did not come up, so that seed was a little old, so I've replanted this with some additional turnips. See how that goes. Here, these were 2 rows of beets. They're coming up. And more Malabar spinach. It was volunteered, but the beets are coming up. Right here I had a space in here, so I went ahead and put in some radish. They're not up yet. This is our rutabaga. They germinated so, not great. And as you remember here, we had some onion. They did not come up, so we've replanted here with radish. Not everything comes up. That's just sometimes the way it goes. Out here on the end, I got a couple cabbage planted there with a few radish planted in the space in between. Here, cabbage plants. You saw us plant. Well, I guess it's been maybe a month and a half ago. They're doing well. So they were pretty small, and they got really heat stressed. This one here almost died back to the ground, but it's come back. It was still really warm in August and September, so they suffered. But now it's still warm a little bit today, but they obviously are doing a lot better. So we got those going. This is a different type than this one. Had an extra curly kale, so it's got it planted in there. This is our lemon tree. So we're starting to get a few turning. Its branch is heavily laden, so I tied it up. I should have taken the fruit off, but you get a little greedy, so left them on there, and they'll turn and be all right. Should be another couple weeks. They'll be coming back. Not too long. We still have some moringa pods. We still need to get a ladder out to get up and harvest. They haven't quite turned yet, but they will. This little area here, we have a small little grow station where we're putting out a few more seedlings. Some of them are up, some are just not up yet. Over in this area, we have a few garden mums. One of them starting to come up yellow, and this one will start flowering before too long. We have a small one here. Big overgrown rosemary bush that I need to do some maintenance on here. Cut out the dead wood this winter. As you can see here, we're have a small area over here. Got this small area here planted out to carrots as well, and I don't have anything planted here yet. The soil's a little rough. I need to do some more maintenance. Not sure what I'll plant there. I may squeeze in some garlic. I'm not real sure. Still have a lot of sweet potatoes that were running all over. And as you can see here, our Meyer lemon, they're starting, they're about baseball size. They're starting to turn pretty well. A lot of comfrey everywhere. Sunchokes that we planted that will be ready to come out before too long. More garden mums here that are just growing natural. And then we have some black-eyed Susans here that come up every spring and fall, planted there. So just thought I'd bring you in quick. Next time I may go through and list off our, let that plane pass for a minute, but next time I may come through and list off our some of our fruit trees. We have about 8 to 10 different fruit trees planted here. Loquat, plum, peach. So next time I'll bring you through a full tour. We got a lot of cleanup to do yet in the garden. Just thought I'd show you some of the vegetables been seeing us plant, and we'll see us plant. Show you how they're doing. And got a little bit of okra left. We're still saving some seed. These plants are about done. Pods of about dried out, and like I say, just saving some seeds off of them. But just thought I'd bring you a quick little tour of some of the vegetables. We have a small area here. It's only about 25 by 35, so not a very big area. And we just try to squeeze in as much as we can into that area and produce as much as we can. So we constantly turning our beds over pretty quick. Sometimes I have to pull things out quicker than I want just so I can have the bed space, but well, it's what you have to do when you have a small area. So if you liked our video, I hope you might consider subscribing and following along. We're going to bring updates of our vegetables as they grow, and hopefully we'll get some green beans here soon, and everything else will come up as planned. But just thought I'd bring you a short tour and update this evening from Two Country Home. I'll talk to you later.